What made you decide to come back?
Um, Lots of things. Actually, after I came back for a year, definitely, it's you have the reverse culture shock. So
Yeah.
I still had a lot of Korean things on my mind and a lot of things I missed about the culture. The food, the friends that you make here, um, all these different, lots of entertainment and things to do on with your spare time.
Hmm.
So also, I think I had such a great time just teaching, and the students were great,
Hmm.
and so that was always something that I was thinking about. A year wasn't really enough. I thought, yeah, I would probably would want to come back in the future sometime and try it out again.
Awesome. And I know that you spent a year at a private ESL institute the first time around.
Yes.
Commonly, they're called Hagwons. And now you've basically started your next year at a public school.
Yes.
Everyone asks me all the time, what are the differences between the two systems? I know that you've pretty new to the public system, but right off the bat, what are some of the differences?
The hours, first of all. So at the Hog I was working evenings from 2 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm working more like a 9 to 5 kind of deal. Actually, I start pretty much 8, end at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I come in at 8, I leave right at 4.
Great.
Yeah. So that's the hours. Number two, I'll say the biggest thing that I noticed is the workload is a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
So at a Hagwon, there was a lot more work. So a lot more preparation, a lot more work outside of the classroom. So preparing report cards, marking essays.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that takes up a lot of your time and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of extra work like that. So with the public school system, the work that I really have to do is just preparing lessons
Mm-hmm.
and tweaking my lessons, making sure the lessons are good. Um, in terms of the grades and assessing the students, that is primarily done by the Korean teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I get a small portion when I evaluate them in speaking. So that's a big thing. It's just that I'm allowed more time just to focus on the lessons and making the lessons good in class, and the students focus on the student learning and making sure they're getting quality lessons in class. Because I found that in the Hog ones, you're so much of your time spent with the grading and making photocopies and all these other things that there wasn't as much time to really focus on the lessons themselves and making sure that the lessons are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. And how far away is your apartment from the subway station?
I think that was about less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. And how about from your apartment to your school? What is your commute like?
Okay, I walked to the bus stop. That's about 5 minutes.
Yep.
And there's 2 buses that take me to my school. I take a couple of different buses, and I'm on the bus for about 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I get out and I walk for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So maybe about 40 minutes.
40 minutes commuting. All right. Everybody always asks me when they're applying to Epic about where they're going to be placed, what their location is going to be. I mean, you went through it. You've got your placement. What comments do you have to make to teachers that are kind of anxious
Yeah.
about their arrival and their settlement?
Yeah. Everyone was pretty anxious
Mm-hmm.
about where they're going to be placed.
Yeah.
But actually, when you get to your orientation, you're just having a lot of fun meeting all the new teachers, and you're taking in all the information. That the location, I know your placement's important, but you can kind of let those things go and just focus on developing yourself as a teacher and being prepared for to teach in the schools. Pretty much everyone I know they seem pretty happy with where they're placed. I mean, they're still in Seoul.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, everyone's, close to a subway line and they can get to the main places.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big thing. If you're applying to if you're in the city that you want to be in, then, you're going to be in somewhere where you like anyways. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know that it was pretty important for you to be in Seoul, and you went through the EPIC application process, and there was a long period of time where you just didn't really know if you had Seoul or not. What advice do you have to give to teachers that want to get into competitive cities like Seoul or Busan?
Yes, just to get your application in early. My application I thought wasn't early, but it was still early, and so I didn't have a problem getting in. So I think the applications, when I applied, it started. They accepted applications like or maybe October.
Yeah.
They started accepting in October. Mine came in like probably early November, like the first week of November.
Yeah.
And that was still pretty early. So try to get it. If you can get it, if you know that you're pretty set on like a city like Seoul or Busan, then to get your application ready and put it together right away, send it out, and you shouldn't have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right on. So, could you explain what that is on your wall?
Some trees.
Did you paint it there?
No. It came like that.
Kind of came like that, yeah. And then I couldn't help but also notice the beautiful rose over there. I had shot a bunch of videos while walking through Lotte department store and looking at Korean home decor and decorations, and it's all pretty much true that it's all kind of, I guess from the Western perspective, a bit gaudy and tacky, but nevertheless, that's how it works. At your previous Hagwon or academy, were you the only foreigner at the school, or were there other foreigners on staff?
There were a lot of foreigners when I got there.
Yeah.
Like maybe 8.
Okay.
It's pretty big.
And I assume that you're the only foreigner right now at your public school?
I'm the only foreigner
and
in my school. Yeah.
what's your? I mean, you've been to both experiences. How do you interpret both of them?
Yeah, it's a little bit different because you don't have someone that speaks your native tongue, and so it's so far a bit more difficult to have the companionship, I guess, because when you're with other foreigners, right, it's like, oh, we're in the same kind of position. We all like left our home countries to experience Korea, and it's different from someone who already lives here and it's their home country, right? But it's different. But I mean, I was still able to meet a lot of EPIC teachers in the same position as me, and then we're going out tonight in Hongdae, so I'll see a lot of them still. So,
Okay.
I still keep in touch with the teachers that I met here. It's just I don't see them every day at school. It's just I come to school. I'm the only foreigner, which maybe is interesting because I'm rare and special in a way. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a weird feeling. Like my first day when I walked up the stairs, and then I wasn't really sure where I was gonna go, and I saw some people, the 2 people in the front that were directing the students, and I was trying to ask for some help, and then like the guy couldn't really speak Korean, so he went to call over another guy, and he's like, I hear him say, "Weikukin," right? Which means foreigner. And
Right.
I'm at like an all-girls school, and so all the girls were waiting to go into school outside, and then they heard Wegu, and they all looked at me, and it was just really weird. Like, and then they're all like crowding and talking, looking at me, pointing. I'm like, okay, this is awkward. And I just went on my way.
Yeah. All right. And has your fellow staff been helpful towards you?
Yes, really helpful. I mean, for me, since I've been here for a year before, I don't need them for as many things as someone who's never been to Korea. But they still are really helpful. They've taken me to like the bank. They've taken me to get my ARC card done, my alien registration card. So whenever I ask for some help, they're always willing.
Great. All right. And what kind of adjustments do you find yourself having to make at your school and also outside of your school?
I guess getting used to the facilities in the school and where to go. Having the lunches at the school is different.
Do you eat with your staff?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's very much men only eat with the men.
Right. Yeah.
And every time they always come at the end with like a bowl of like, I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like a rice porridge kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm always full by that time, and then they give me this. I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? So I've kind of learned how to take my portions of food, like not to get too much. Yeah, pretty much it's been alright getting used to things at my school. I mean, I've taught already for a year, and I've kind of already been in Korea, so it's talking to the students, I guess, is something different again.
Mhm.
Getting used to talking to the students, my getting used to adjusting my speaking, to slow down
Mhm.
and be very clear with what I'm saying. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Great. And if you had to pass along some advice to new teachers that are applying, what would you tell new candidates?
Maybe research the cities to be happy with where you're going to be,
Mhm.
right? Find the city that you think will work well with you.
Mhm.
So if you really want to be in a big metropolitan like Seoul or Busan, or another maybe more in the countryside, to really
Mhm.
know what would work with you, and uh, just to network, I guess, meet a lot of teachers, make sure you have a good group of friends that you can talk to about work, and sometimes you might need to do a little bit of venting, and I mean you can't really do that with your Korean co-teachers. You don't want to give off a bad impression. You don't want to ever really complain or that kind of thing. So sometimes it's good to have that support from people that are experiencing the same thing as you.
Mhm.
And so Facebook's actually been a good resource, because there's a Facebook group for all the Seoul Epic teachers
Mhm.
in our group.
Mhm.
So everyone posts some things about their lessons, or so that's a good resource. So look up on Facebook, maybe if there are other applicants or other people that are in the same city as you.
Mhm.
There are a lot of good resources for teaching online, so definitely check those out. You'll get a lot of those resources, those websites at your invitation. So
Mhm. Great. And I assume that it's an orientation where you built a network of friends?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
orientation, yeah. There's lots of opportunities, especially you're divided into your classes,
Mhm.
so there's more of that getting to know each other more, and your classes that you're with constantly for all your lectures and all your workshops.
Mhm. All right, great. And any final comments before we sign out?
Fighting? I don't know.
Fighting. All right. And what does that mean for those that don't know?
It's kind of like just like hang in there, fighting. You'll get through it.
You can do it.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, great. Thanks, Murray, so much. We all appreciate it.